Disney's Grand Californian Hotel was set to reopen, however, is going to be delaying its reopening of the Disneyland Resort due to a all-new stay-at-home order as issued by the state of California governor. We also are heading out to Walt Disney World to talk a little bit about how they are extending hours going into New Year's Eve. And speaking of Orlando, we're fresh back from a trip. All kinds of hits and misses, all kinds of experience notes we want to share with you for Walt Disney World during the holidays in 2020. It is December 5th, 2020, and Kingdom Report Live starts right now.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. To all who come to
Kicking it off as we always do with that live look outside at the Disneyland Resort. Mickey's Fun Wheel in the distance via the HojoAnaheim.com a matter cam. How great it is to be able to see all the tree line there at the Disneyland Resort. Hello, everyone. Wade Heath with you once again for an all-new Kingdom Report Live here on December the 5th. It is officially the holiday season, hence why you might see a few decorations strewn about the studio. Yes. So grateful to have you with us. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, The Kingdom Report, over on YouTube. And if you like what you see here so far, it only gets better from here, I promise. If not, we can go ahead and blame this on maybe somebody else entirely, but I want you to make sure that you go ahead and like the video wherever you see this video, whether it be Facebook Live or streaming live on YouTube. It is always so much fun to have you with us live and in person, chatting along with us on both of those platforms. So if you're somebody that happens to watch, which I know the majority of the audience watches instead of listens to this broadcast, that's perfectly fine. However, if you're watching live, we want to say a special thank you. If you're watching after the fact, which is the majority of the audience catching this a few days after the live version, well, it's great to have you with us. It's great to be a part of your weekend or the very beginning of your new week. Yeah, there's so much to talk about today in terms of Disney parks and news and discussion, but before we get moving in that direction, before we head in that specific place, let us welcome members of our team from AttractionFaction.net. It's Tyler Crouch and Katina Manzone.
Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday.
Hey, everybody. Good to be back. It's
Isn't
good
it,
to
though?
be here.
Yeah.
It feels Christmassy.
Yeah, I feel Christmassy.
I'm in
Yes.
the mood for some gingerbread.
It does.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have some right here.
We've got
look
some
at
right
that.
here.
You want
A
an
whole
ear?
gingerbread hat. There,
Yes.
that's perfect.
Good enough to eat.
Hat on a hat.
Yes.
There's nothing like that.
A hat on a double hat. Yeah.
Thank
I know
you.
you were way into it when we saw you. You're like, I got it because there's a hat on a hat.
I mean,
Why wouldn't I?
I wore that my entire Disney World trip because
sure
it
did.
was important to be festive.
Yeah.
In a world full of unfestive experiences.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like Pandora.
Got
Like
that right.
Pandora. That's right. It seems to fit very well. And making sure that all things move in a way that is cohesive and comfortable. From the production dungeon, it's producer Christian standing by. Well, good day, sir.
Good day, everybody.
Tell me, Christian, given the fact that you make this world go round and that you are a Disney enthusiast yourself, you tend to have a pin with you in which to share, a trading pin. Do you have one today?
That I do. Today in the pin pocket, it's Jack Skellington.
Oh, another Jack
Yay!
Skellington.
Jack
You
Skellington.
are quite a
Well,
fan.
I am a fan. I mean,
Wow.
can't go without the head honcho here, right?
No, you cannot. My goodness, anything special about? Are they Jack Skellington ears? Is that what I saw?
These are from the ears collection for the night before Christmas.
Oh, styling
So
and
the zero one I
profiling.
brought in earlier was also in the shape of 8 ears.
I love that. Wow, it's almost like you have an entire arsenal of pins.
Almost.
Or a
We'll see.
whole full pocket or something like that.
Or multiple pockets full, even.
Could be, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, thank you for bringing that in and sharing yet another Christian's pin pocket with us. I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Fresh off of a Walt Disney World trip during the holidays, and 2020 is a very unique year where all things are different. We wanted to check in with both Tyler Crouch and Katina Manzone to share some of their hits and misses when it comes to what they experienced. I think this adds some great insight when it comes to maybe potentially planning a trip of your own. Only a couple weeks left here in December. However, we do know that the holidays always extend out into those first couple weeks of January as well, based on the park and based on what they're doing. So we wanted to check in with them and see, number one, how the trip was, and number two, some of the hits and misses. Katrina, let's start with you.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna pull off the Band-Aid. I'm just gonna start with.
Pull it off.
I'm gonna rip it off.
Ouch.
Some negative stuff happening.
Oh.
But I'm gonna end with a positive though.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I will say, I hated Disney Springs. I did
Oh.
not feel safe.
Hate is such a strong word.
It was atrocious.
Yeah.
I did not feel safe.
Mhm.
We did it twice. We did one and it was Thanksgiving Day. It was around like nighttime. Okay, fine. It's going to be busier, but they didn't like really have a capacity. Everybody, like, I felt like it was wall to wall people. A lot of people weren't wearing their masks while they were drinking and like walking, and it's just, I did not feel comfortable. Then the second time we went, it was still really, really busy. And so I didn't feel comfortable doing that. But I will say that I do really like the changes that they've made to like dining services, where for quick service, it used to be like a quick, Tyler orders the food, I run and get a seat. It used to be that kind of thing at Disney World. And if you've been at quick service at Disney World, you'll know that you kind of have to have another person
All
scout
for
for
yourself.
seats.
Yeah,
you
you
have
gotta
to
fend
scout
for
for
yourself,
seats,
right?
and someone stands in line for the food, and you go get the seat and you keep it. You lock it down. This time, though, you actually have to have a food order in order to actually sit down at the quick service locations, which I thought was really nice. And I thought that was fantastic, where, I wasn't like, okay, you stand and get the food, I'm going to go get a seat, because there was like ample amount of seating. So I thought that was great. Except for the wasps over at Animal Kingdom. That was really scary. But other than that, I thought it was
called
really
theming.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Woo.
Theming at Animal
Animals, hello.
I know. It keeps what? No, that's honeybees. I was going to say it keeps elephants away, but
I'm sure they don't like wasps
I
and
don't
yellow
think they like
jackets either.
wasps either. That's really mean.
What a theme.
Oh God. Anyway, but other than that, I thought it was great. They cleaned the rides a lot. They had hand sanitizer everywhere. Cast members, they did such a great job with trying to keep people in the theme parks 6 feet away from one another, making sure people wear their masks. There was like a couple occasions where we saw people without masks on, and like within a second, the cast members like ran to them and told them to put their mask back on, which I thought was like fantastic.
Yeah.
Except for Disney Springs. That was like my only like womp womp. Like I do not feel safe there, and I probably won't feel safe there for a while. Maybe in off season, I guess. But then, yeah, I think other than that, and then also on a top of the note, I got to finally have gluten-free fried chicken at 50's Prime Time.
Oh my.
So if you guys are gluten-free and you need a delicious fried chicken, they have a gluten-free fried chicken at 50's Prime Time. So
On a
that
scale
was like,
of 1 to 10 on that gluten-free fried chicken, what would you rate it?
ooh, compared to what? Well, I guess like I always do like chicken tenders there.
Mhm.
Like I always just go to any quick service and get like chicken strips or whatever, quick, easy. But I mean, this is actually really good. I have to rate it like a good, like, I can't like say 10 out of 10, but like a 9 out of 10.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, if I could have like delicious like biscuits or onion rings or something like that over there, it'd be super great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was delicious. It was like, I mean, it was like a half a chicken. It was like tons of pieces. I didn't even want to let anybody try it because I
Take all the
literally, I
chicken.
ate the whole thing.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to eat the whole dang plate. And I did. And I even got a sticker for it.
You cleaned your plate?
Now I got to go on a diet.
Part of the Clean Your Plate Club.
I did, and
Wow.
then you got one too.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got some
stickers.
stickers. It was beautiful.
It was so
beautiful.
great. But anyways,
I got
that
picked
was
on
my...
the entire time we were there. But
Oh,
that's okay.
no.
He was the only boy,
I was the one.
you know. So of course
Not
he got to
why.
get picked on.
You know.
But
All I
That
can
was my
say
high
is
note.
don't order water because you'll just get yelled at. But
Oh, they don't like that, huh?
I guess,
Yikes.
well, I guess our server didn't anyway. But I
Mm.
was like, listen, just give me some water, please. I
Get
don't
the
know.
big boy drinks.
Yeah, I mean, I got a beer too, which then
Oh.
I also got made fun of for. But
There's no way to win on this.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
oh my
But what
God.
about you, Tyler?
yeah, I mean, so for me, I agree with Katrina 100%. Like, I felt really good at the theme parks
Mhm.
and the way that they were, maintaining social distancing and the cast members and everything. They were all fantastic when it comes to everything in the theme parks. Even the way that they've set up certain things. The queues all have the big plastic sheets that we've all talked about, and even a lot of the rides do now. I mean, when I was there in October, like Runaway Railway, they were just still seating people like separately.
Mhm.
Now they've put up plastic dividers on every car and stuff like that. So they're slowly working through the parks, and things are really good there. And we went to Universal Studios Orlando too, and they do a decent job. It still feels safer than like a grocery store there or something like that, I would say, but it's just not quite on the level. There's a couple things that they do at Universal Orlando that is not so, doesn't feel so good. Like they'll seat people back to back to back. They won't let anybody sit right next to you, but if you're on a roller coaster, they're going to put people in every car. So it's just little things like that Disney kind of ekes out on. But yeah, but Disney Springs was really, really bad, and there's just something about, I don't know if it's because they weren't limiting capacity as much as they should be, or what the deal is. And I know it's probably hard to say. I'm sure it's hard to go to every restaurant and vendor that's there and be like, hey, we're limiting capacity to like 30% or whatever, and I'm sure they're all going to get up in arms about it. So I understand that. But then there was also this weird thing that happened there where I was like, well, I kind of just want to, we had like dinner reservations, but I kind of wanted to go get a to-go drink at Hangar Bar. And there was like nobody in the Hangar Bar. Like, and they were like, well, you have to get a seat to get any drinks. We can't just let anybody walk in there because of all the social distancing and things like that. And I'm like, I didn't argue with the cast members. I was like, okay, that's fine. I just won't get a drink then. But I was like, that's kind of ridiculous when I'm looking in the bar and there's like so much space to walk around, and all I do is do like a 180-degree turn and there is like mobs and mobs of people. I'm like, is it really? It's kind of like they're enforcing rules that didn't matter, in my opinion. I was like, you're going to enforce the rule that I can't go and grab a to-go drink, but then you're not going to enforce like these millions of people out right behind me.
Sure.
Like it just didn't make sense to me. So I think they need to focus their efforts in a different direction, and not be so worried about the small things like that, and be more worried about, they're gonna have to start keeping more people away, because it just was really, really bad. And because there were so many people, it also gives people an excuse to not act the way they should be. So there were people there. That's the most I saw, people with their nose sticking out and stuff like that. It was really disappointing, actually, on that level, because that was definitely, I've talked about going to San Diego, a few months ago, and we went to this Italian restaurant where we didn't realize there was a festival going on there, and we did not feel safe there. This was like on the same level of like, there's just so many people around not following the rules, not social distancing. The stores, a couple of the stores had lines and stuff like that, but most of them were just kind of letting people go in and out. And so that was a big miss for me. But overall, avoid Disney Springs, and your vacation feels pretty safe to me. I think the worst part is probably the airport.
Sure.
The airplane itself didn't feel that bad. At least we flew Delta, so we had empty seats in between us and stuff. But the airport still felt like kind of the worst part of the whole situation.
I
So.
have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Those security scanners are so legit.
Oh yeah.
That was something that was in my brain. It is such a life changer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because this is the first time for me going back to Disney World, even like going back to Disney after the security change. And like, because you already went and you've gone before to do it. But like for me, I always carry a bag and it was like such a pain in the butt. And I'm just like, now I have to wait in line with people have bagception problems and stuff. And then now I'm finally able to like actually go through with my bag. And then all you have to do is just hold out your umbrella, or now it's going to be your like my sunglass case is also a thing that dings when you go through. So you just hold that out and then you just go boop right through. So amazing.
And it's everywhere now.
Blown.
Yeah.
I think that was the other really nice piece to this was that now
So nice.
that contactless security, as they're calling it, where you just essentially walk by some panels. It's now in every park. It's now in every crevice. Everywhere you go has these contactless monitoring systems where you just walk on through, and you're none the wiser.
Yeah,
And it's super efficient.
it is super efficient to the point where I don't even think Disney was ready for it because Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and then like a couple years ago, Hollywood Studios, they all redid the whole security area.
Right.
And it is massive and it spans, it's like hundreds of feet long at each of these parks. And then they use this one little cubby for all of them.
You like one or two open. That's all they need.
And that's all they need. And it gets everybody through. And they're like, wow, we just built these huge security stations for nothing.
Yeah.
But you know.
Now it's shade for the rain, or like
Yeah.
some protection from
There
the
you go.
rain.
No, that's a great point. Everywhere in front of all these parks, they definitely set up infrastructure for something that was supposed to be much more vast.
Yeah.
And now you're right; it's all condensed just down into one or two walkways.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Incredible.
is really funny. I
a
just was
life
noticing
changer.
that. I was like, didn't they just build this huge security thing and now they're using this one little cubby of it? Like, so it's funny, but I'm glad that, you know, we have this new super efficient system that, you know, again, I've said it on the show before, but Universal Studios, you know, still does the X-ray thing. And at the time I was like, this is the way it should be. I love this.
Right.
And now I'm like, oh, now they've been one-upped again by Disney.
Mhm.
Like,
I
so
want to see their screen. Like I was trying to linger because I forgot what was happening, and I think I was like waiting for you because someone like cut you off or whatever. So I was like by the monitor trying to look, and then like they're turning around being like,
they're like, what are you looking at?
What you
and I was
looking
like,
at?
doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they have
darn,
their
I
little
couldn't
like
see it.
iPad size panel that
Yeah.
they're staring at as you walk by. I wonder also what they're seeing.
Yeah. Because it dings and then it's like beep beep beep, and they're like, you
Mm-hmm.
go there, and I was like, but what did you see? Because like I didn't know about my sunglass case and my battery pack, and my battery pack's not that big,
Mhm.
and it dinged the first time, and then they're like, oh okay, well it's about this size, and then they looked at my bag and they're like, oh yeah, these two things are it, so just pull them out when you walk through, and I'm like, what did you see?
Very interesting.
Intriguing.
Very.
How did you feel, Wade? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll tell you that after having heard you mention while we were there about Disney Springs, I was not looking forward to it. I went 3 different times, specifically with the intent to look for what you experienced. Twice at night, once in the daytime. Just to see what are crowd patterns like, what's going on. It did feel very crowded, that's for sure. Certain times, night times seems to be a
Nighttime
very,
was the worst.
very big hot spot.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of probably locals, they like to come in the evening for dinner. Restaurants were abiding by the 6-foot distancing within tables and reservations and stuff like that. So less reservations per restaurant.
Mhm.
I was also noticing the stores allowing people to come in and out based on which store was doing it.
Right.
Some were governing more than others. I will say, though, I didn't notice a ton of outright defiance. So fortunate, I guess, to
Yeah.
come across not noticing so much of that. And I was specifically looking for it, by the way. So I wanted to see if, like, all right, is there a pocket in here? Is there a place where people just are ignoring, the rules and the constant announcements that you're hearing of, you better be wearing it up over your nose and under your chin, and we're going to ask you to leave. That was also something that was new from the last time I was there back in August. And now they're outright telling you and posting everywhere, we're going to ask you to leave if you
Yeah.
can't abide by these rules. I'm
I
glad
love
to
it.
hear that.
Yes.
Yeah. But I will say that during my experience, I did notice, while there was always the one-offs here and there of somebody with it under their chin and not really caring and walking along drinking something, I did notice that here and there. The one thing that I really don't like, because the parks do it so well, the enforcement arm of what they're doing, that they go to such great lengths to do in the parks, is not being done in Disney Springs.
No.
There's no enforcement arm.
Mm-mm.
I don't
didn't
see anybody
anybody.
anywhere. I saw far less security than I've ever witnessed at Disney Springs.
Really?
Usually, I notice them everywhere walking around. I just noticed them at the entry points. I barely noticed any in any zone of Disney Springs. So I noticed that in particular, and probably not thrilled with what I saw in terms of that, but otherwise did not feel unsafe. Definitely did not walk away thinking, all right, it's too crowded to the point that I feel like I need to leave. Granted, this was after the Thanksgiving holiday, so potentially those crowds also left with it, but was, I think, more so surprised that I did not come across just sort of the outright defiance I was anticipating. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
And I will definitely say that throughout the parks, they did a stellar job enforcing all of these rules and regulations. I certainly noticed the extension of lines, the extension of crowds that I did not notice in August. I mean, there's a lot more people that they are now letting into these parks. So the Disney company did say that they were kicking it up to 35% in terms of overall capacity and allowing in more people because they can manage it. I was skeptical. They were managing it. It looks a lot worse than it is. I clocked a lot of different wait times that said 45 minutes on the outside, ended up being 10 minutes. People just kept moving, but the lines outside, because there's so many more people that want to do something, were that much longer, were that much more expansive. So it
That
comes
looked
off
very scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes off as though like, oh my God, what are all these people doing out
It
here?
was like Flight of Passage, like all the way down at Lion King, going in Lion King. You're like,
Crazy.
oh no.
Yeah. In August, I certainly didn't see a line that long.
Yeah.
I barely saw it snaking through the land, and now here you see that entire, like, going into an entirely different land. It's like opening day Flight of Passage.
Yeah.
So at any rate, definitely thought, okay, they managed to handle things very well in terms of holiday crowds. Kind of surprised. I was anticipating it to drop here and there based on what I was already hearing ahead of time. Was very pleased with my experience overall. And I definitely have an addendum, if you will, some additional footage and some additional clips that I'm going to be putting together for another edition of Walt Disney World in Pandemic,
Cool.
Holiday Edition, because I think there is so much to know about the holidays right now, including my travel, which I was not fortunate. I traveled American Airlines, and not only did they mess with the overall flight schedule and put me from a direct to a connecting, they also condensed, I think, multiple planes, multiple flights into one mega jet, because I was talking to people around me as to where they were going, and we were sent via Miami and then to Orlando. And I was talking to people around me. They were forced to go to Miami, and they were all going to different places outside of Florida and Georgia. And so
Fun.
it sounds like people were condensed down into this one plane. So I was sitting in a 10-seat row of a mega jet,
Wow.
side by side at a midnight flight, because that's when they pushed the flight to take off. So it then became a midnight flight, which I thought, it'll probably be cool, right? Like midnight, nobody's going to be flying
Little
on
sleepy
Thanksgiving at midnight. No, they condensed everybody into one plane. So really, based on who you are deciding to travel with, who you are deciding to make your airline plans with, weighs very heavily on what you are going to encounter and how you are going to feel.
Yep.
On the way back, because I made sure they knew I was very unhappy, they did do some things to try and rectify the situation, which I appreciated, but still, it didn't change what was going on, and it felt very uncomfortable.
It was
And
still
everybody,
packed.
oh yeah, and everybody I was sitting with was saying the same thing. Like, I was not anticipating this to be so condensed and everybody basically sitting on top of each other. They are doing a couple of different things now where they're letting you know a couple hours before your flight, we're expecting this flight to be very busy.
Oh, thank you.
You might want to change it. And I thought, not everybody has. Most people don't
I don't
have
have the luxury to change it within 3 hours of my flight.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Well,
I would
shouldn't
say
they be
the
able-
travel.
Yeah, like shouldn't they be able to expect that like well in advance? Like,
Right.
it
Like a
shouldn't
day
be,
before,
like,
2 days before at least, to know, like, okay, your flight may be busy. Do you want to change it? You have
Mhm.
like 24 hours to
Right.
change it, at least at that point. We were glad with our flight was, Delta. They're not doing the middle seats right now.
Mhm.
So that was really comfy. And then they're doing it until like the end of March, which is really nice. So But that really stinks about American Airlines.
Yeah, and I understand, the optics when you think about like, oh, well, you're getting on a plane anyway in the middle of all this. Totally understand that. But it goes to show you the airlines that seem to at least act like they're caring. I think that goes a long way. That Delta is doing that no middle seat. That goes a long way in making you feel just a little bit more comfortable. In some instances, travel is necessary for certain things, especially for business. And to know that some people are just sort of forced into a situation where now they're condensed down into one plane now at midnight, and they can't have any other recourse other than to, well, go ahead and reschedule for a day or two later. And it'll probably be the same sort of situation.
Yeah, probably in a worse seat that you had before that you planned months in advance.
Very well could be. Yeah. Otherwise, my Disney World trip was awesome. I had a great time.
God, I wish I could teleport like boop boop. That'd be nice.
One day.
Yeah.
Do it like Power Rangers, and send me to the command center just like that.
I'd go to Disney World anytime. At that point, I felt like a lot safer there, and then than the airport. That's for sure. I did not like the Delta commuting between the two terminals. That was very scary.
Sure.
They kind of packed the bus a little bit to take you from terminal 2 to international terminal that they're using, but yeah, Disney World did a great job.
Once I got there, things were fantastic. I felt finally in the holiday mood. Obviously this year it's kind of hard to get into the swing of things with the holidays, and it was nice to come across all the entertainment and excitement and all of the great positives that come along with Disney World during Christmas time.
Finally got to see the new castle painted. The painting was on. I'm still not a fan. I was so excited, and Tyler's waiting for me to cry like I always do, and I go see it, and then
She cried for different reasons.
And then I cried, and I was like, "What is this?"
It is an acquired taste, that's for sure.
I mean, it's beautiful to see, and it's very shiny and pretty, and the sun hits it in a certain way. It's it's really pretty. But I just don't get the feels with the Cinderella castle with the light blues and grays and stuff. It just looked, it looked not plain, but just clean. And then it just gave you different feels.
I think it felt even though I'm not saying that the little tiny Main Street USA town fits in with a big medieval castle, but it felt more cohesive when it was painted white. Sure. As now it just feels like a gaudy, shiny thing. I don't know.
You see something in the distance, and you're like, "What is this? Wow, it looks so beautiful!" And then you just get overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden, this one, I'm just like, "It looks like it's trying to copy the Sleeping Beauty castle. What's it trying to be?" Because it doesn't have it doesn't have its own identity. Cinderella Castle had its identity, and now it's just mashed together, forced to do this rose gold thing. What they named it,
I'm so
Briar Rose Gold, and so or whatever. What's her? Not Briar Rose Gold. What was it? The whatever her name is.
I don't know. Rose Gold.
Yeah, but they're trying to make
it
it after Sleeping Beauty Rose Gold, and then so it just doesn't make any sense. But it's nice. I just want it to be changed back ASAP.
Well, it's temporary. Yes,
it is.
That's what I'm okay with.
Projections. Beautiful,
absolutely. Well, Walt Disney World is off and running for the holiday seasoning and doing a bang-up job outside of a couple of hiccups with Disney Springs. Let us know down in the comments section, what are some of your favorite Disneyland or Walt Disney World Christmas traditions? We're always interested to hear. Leave that down below, and we can't wait to respond and see what you have to say. My friends, it looks like Disneyland has a couple of various things in which to touch on this week. They are now providing some details when it comes to unused ticket expiration dates. They were mentioning recently that obviously, with the extended closure, there's a lot of things happening right now all over the place where people have tickets and they don't know what to do with them, annual passes and the like. Disney has mentioned that unused non-promotional single-day Disneyland theme park tickets that expire on December 30th, 2020 or March 31st, 2021 will have the expiration date extended to December 16th, 2021. Wholly unused non-promotional multi-day tickets that expire on January 12th, 2021 and April 13th, 2021 will have the expiration date extended to December 16th, 2021, and the ticket will expire 13 days after the first use or on December 16th, 2021, whichever occurs first. Guests with multi-day tickets who use their first visit between February 28th, 2020 and March 13th, 2020, but did not reach their ticket's maximum number of uses will have the 13-day expiration period of their ticket extended to December 16th, 2021. Expiration dates on eligible tickets will be updated prior to the theme park's reopening. This is good news. I know that there was a lot of concern about, well, what's going to happen to tickets? Well, what's going to happen to annual passes? And even annual passes are still up in the air to a certain degree as to what's going to be happening. If you haven't been contacted already with refund options and things that they are offering based on your level of annual pass. So as they continue to remain closed moving forward, the Disneyland Resort that is, there are some updates now that we can point to for at least standard tickets and multi-day tickets that perhaps you were sitting on or waiting to use moving forward. In some good news this past week, the Off the Page store in Disney California Adventure officially reopened on Buena Vista Street. This was something that everybody was looking forward to, especially as it seems like, Tyler and Katrina, the California Adventure Downtown Disney expansion, as they are calling it, California Adventure pieces that are playing into Downtown Disney are slowly starting to expand, going a little bit further down Hollywood Boulevard. I think this is kind of what we were excited about, the idea of, well, if it works out well to begin with, they're probably going to keep inching forward further and further into the park. I also saw a map the other day of how Downtown Disney has expanded, and I put that in quotes, because it looks like, I think Downtown Disney, they use like the color green down the middle of between the two parks, and it shows that green now dipping into California Adventure. So it's official.
They're like, oh, it's Downtown Disney. There's no park here right
Yeah,
now.
official on the map. So it's nice to have another store back online.
That's exciting.
Mhm.
And then I heard they were kind of like inching their way into Adventures Campus, kind of doing little popcorn carts over there. People actually could kind of step foot over there, which is nice. But it's good to see like Off the Page. We always love going to Off the Page to see all the artwork and stuff. So it's like now they closed Wonderground, so
Right.
this will be nice for people that loved artwork that are able to see some stuff and like actually get in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite shops in California Adventure. And then, yeah, like you said, Wonderground being closed, which is a dang shame. I mean, I feel bad for all the artists that have their stuff in there. And it was one of the more unique places to go, I felt
Right,
like,
yeah.
because, like, okay, you can go and buy a T-shirt anywhere, but, like, you know, it was cool to see so many artists do different interpretations of all these different characters that you know and love.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad it's open, and hopefully that more and more keep going.
Do you think they're gonna actually expand inside Off the Page into
The
oh my
animation
God.
building?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
think they're gonna open
that'd
that
be
and make
cool.
it a bigger store?
I don't see why not.
More money.
Yep. Lots more space to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, look at that.
If you're a fan of Downtown Disney expanding or California Adventure just getting a little bit more of the Downtown Disney lion's share, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Leave it in the comment section down below if you are excited about the prospect of moving further into California Adventure, at least for the time being, with the Downtown Disney expansion. In other news, it looks like there is a new regional stay-at-home order that will likely be affecting the Disneyland Resort very soon, as issued by the California Governor Gavin Newsom. He has announced this new regional stay-at-home order this past week, and according to predictions from the state of California, Orange County and the rest of the Southern California region will meet the criteria that he has mentioned for the stay-at-home order, all sort of being positioned around ICU capacity. And they may meet this criteria, Orange County, by early December. So that's right now. And there's an anticipation that this is going to continue to increase and lock things down even further. The regional stay-at-home order would be in effect for 3 weeks after the trigger, and instructs Californians to stay at home as much as possible to limit the mixing of other households that can lead to the COVID-19 spread. It allows access and travel for critical services and allows outdoor activities to preserve Californians' physical and mental health. It's so nice that they're trying to consider mental health now. The limited closure will help stop the surge and prevent overwhelming regional ICU capacity. This is all what he's claiming going into this new mandate. As it relates to related operations at the Disneyland Resort, the following restrictions will be in place. Retail offerings will be allowing indoor operation at 20% capacity with entrance metering and no eating or drinking in the stores. Additionally, special hours should be instituted for seniors and others with chronic conditions or compromised immune systems. Shopping centers, in general, allow indoor operation at 20% capacity under this mandate with entrance metering and no eating or drinking in the stores. And then hotels and lodging allowed to open for critical infrastructure support only. And restaurants are being pushed into a category with this mandate, allowing only for takeout, pickup, or delivery. Now, this is something that also attaches to what Disney just announced, and that is the Disney Vacation Club wing of the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa was going to be reopening as we speak. So this was going to be reopening this coming week and was going to be a part of sort of the hotel offerings finally coming back online at the Disneyland Resort. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, as now Disney has announced they are going to take a look at this stay-at-home order and how it's going to impact things overall, and so they are going to delay this Disney Vacation Club reopening after all. So for how long, we're not exactly sure. However, as with everything that has come from the California governor, it continues to push Disney down this road they've never been in. There is not a great relationship between the Disneyland Resort and the California state government right now. There has been lawsuits from assembly members of the state of California against the governor over some of these mandates, some of which he's lost and has been considered unconstitutional. So there's a lot of things in the mix at the moment, and whether or not Orange County abides by these rules is also still up in the air, as we have seen with LA County clamping down on indoor dining and then saying no more to outdoor dining as well. There are now some cities that fall under the LA County guidance that have said, absolutely not. We are going to stick with outdoor dining because a lot of these businesses have gone to great lengths to spend thousands of dollars to set up proper CDC approved guidelines for outdoor dining. And if it's outside and everybody's taking the precautions they're supposed to be taking, I thought that was enough. So now we have cities that are also saying no, some counties that are saying we're going to govern by our own guidance and our own recommendations. So there's a lot that can still happen on this front. So we want to make sure that that's very clear. But knowing that now further restrictions are being put in place, this now also means that more people are being furloughed again. So that's really unfortunate. We've seen that come this week along with a new string of layoffs that have come across Disney. Who I thought was left in terms of my friends, I'm watching them all this week say goodbye officially. So that continues to happen on top of all of this. Disney Vacation Club reopening was, I thought, kind of a sign of hope, seeing that they were coming back online, kind of how they did out in Florida to begin with. But now knowing that we're likely about to be in this new phased lockdown, a new unique lockdown, which to its credit gives a little bit more ability for flexibility. It is still a situation where Disney is pulling back yet again and delaying things.
That's really sad. It's
Yet
like a
again.
bummer, man, because
Yeah.
I agree with you. When they're opening for DVC only, it was kind of a glimmer of hope, just like a little spark. But then again, like with what's going on in California, I don't blame them, and it's an easy pull. Honestly, like the restaurants were going to be opening, there was no stores opening up in at the hotel. There was literally going to be nothing involved, besides like rooms. So it's a bummer because I don't want to see those people like they had a job for a second and then it was like yanked
Gone
away
again. Yeah.
and that's really frustrating to see. And I get it's just an easy out. They're like, okay, I don't think this should be opening yet, but it's still a shame. And like what's going on with all the restaurants and stuff, because like who knows like what's gonna happen. Like all these, like if downtown Disney closes all their restaurants, it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to come back online in a limited capacity to begin with. Downtown Disney has seen, huge demand since it returned because there's nothing to do anywhere in these counties. There's nothing really allowable. Downtown Disney being mostly outside anyway helps, which is why California Adventure's expansion into Buena Vista Street helped, because it's all mostly outside. And knowing that we're now going in this direction of a new mandate, a new stay-at-home order, with, again, who knows what the counties are going to do in terms of reacting and fighting and doing their own regulations, because we've seen this. We've seen this story before. We've witnessed all this before. So who knows where this is going to go? But as of right now, this puts Disney back in a position to have to pull back, delay things, stop stuff from happening, shut things down again. All while there was I think what was happening was being done appropriately and being done the right way. We saw out in Walt Disney World during our most recent trip here a couple days ago just how well things were being done. And we've talked about this, at length here, where they haven't even really been given an opportunity to showcase that they can do what they say they can do in the theme parks. So they're just sticking with the outdoor dining, and they're sticking with the retail, and they're monitoring how many people can come into this space to begin with. So now it's going to be reduced even further again. So now we're like back to, the early summer numbers where they had to reduce everything down to a much more minuscule amount. Tough to see it happen yet again. The start-stop thing really sucks for people that think they have a job and then all of a sudden they don't again.
Oh yeah, it's horrible for everybody that is in the industry. I my heart goes out to all the cast members and just even management and stuff at this point, because it's got to be so difficult to deal with, and just like hear these crushing things every day. At the same time, in my head, I'm just kind of like, well, the numbers are getting worse than they've ever been before, and something needs to be done. I just don't. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place, because there's really no good answer for any of this stuff, I feel like. And no matter what we do, we're sacrificing something. So as a society, we kind of have to decide what, is the most important thing to sacrifice. And, I think, unfortunately, having people die is the worst part of it. So sure. I kind of get people losing their jobs and stuff if the alternative is people are dying. It sucks a lot. I really don't like it.
I guess what's more frustrating about all of this is that there's now been 8 months of this life that we've had to live, and this goes to the top, from the federal government all the way down, regardless of politics. There is still nothing there to help anybody in this situation.
Yeah. And I think, and I don't want to make this a big political thing, but I'm really excited to see what the new what the new president's going to do, and all this, all these new leaders that are going to be in charge of things, because I just don't think right now the people that we have in charge are taking this as seriously as it needs to be. And I'm not saying like when it comes to like shutdowns and lockdowns and things like that, I'm saying like for actually helping out like ICUs and things like that. It's just not, it just isn't where it should be, unfortunately. And I don't want to make it a political thing. That's just really what's happening right now. And, I hope with the new leadership, as well as all of the new vaccinations that we're having, apparently coming out fairly soon, hopefully this really helps curb things and we start to see a turnaround, because right now we're going in the wrong direction. And, I know a lot of people are mad at Newsom because he's not doing the right things. And, my opinion is like, you still, just because you're watching somebody else do the wrong thing, doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like, well, why should I do that? Why should I stay locked down if Newsom isn't even going to do it? It's like, don't worry about Newsom. Newsom's obviously a loser, like in this regard anyway. Yeah. And just, remember that it's about like everybody, not just what Newsom does. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion right now. It's like, don't know what is the right answer. I don't think anybody knows what the right answer is, but at the same time, it seems like something needs to happen. Something needs to change, and maybe the way we were doing it isn't as great as it could have been. I'm part of the problem. I just went to Florida, so I can't, I sound like a hypocrite. I understand, but
I mean, here's another great comparison. You have a state that's virtually not locked down at all out in Florida. They even threw the mask mandate out and said, we're going to leave it to the local counties to deal with it. And Orange County, where Disney World is located, they do have a mask mandate. There are certain counties that still abide by it. Many businesses still abide by it throughout the state. However, you're watching now a tale of two governors, a tale of two states, two very different places, two very unique set of circumstances where they've completely reopened things, and then here where they've kept everything in restricted mode, shut things down a time or two, or a few. And then on top of that, you've witnessed that numbers by comparison, and granted California is obviously much larger than Florida, but numbers by comparison, they're all bad anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like they're all bad on both coasts, and Florida remains in the top three of being the worst with California. The difference being that California has done all of these restrictions and these stop starts. I don't know if that's helped at all, because I mean, not saying that there shouldn't be ways in which you go about slowing things and doing your best to mitigate, but I definitely see a different world out in Florida that seems to be working okay. You know, and for the most part, ICUs are about the same percentage as they are here. So I don't really, I'm confused by the science of it all, because that's what the governor continues to say he's led by here. The other big piece to this is dining, when it comes to outdoor dining and certain locations, certain counties shutting things down. That science doesn't add up anywhere. There's nothing connected to outdoor dining spreads. There's nothing connected to outdoor dining science data backing up what these new orders are doing and mandating. So that's very confusing to me too. You know, you're very right, Taylor, when it comes to the governor not abiding by his own rules. And, you know, we've witnessed him lie several times this year on working with theme parks when he wasn't, and they called him on it. And it's like he got mad about it, you know, and reacted in a nasty way. And here we are with now visual proof that he doesn't even follow his own guidance. You know, I am all for the fury that goes towards somebody who puts himself on a hill and acts like some sort of savior when it comes to a situation like this, and then goes out and does the exact opposite. The moral authority to make these mandates and to say you need to listen to me, that's a very hard thing to trust. You know, that's a very hard person to believe in, especially when we've now caught him in multiple ethic problems, and it's created this like distrust of the system. So, you know, you already have, I think, a segment of the population here overall that already didn't buy into a lot of what was being told to them in terms of here's what you need to do, here's how you need to be, here's how you need to react. You know, we started with no masks were necessary. Then we moved back into that place where, my God, you better be wearing a mask. That's the only way to stop this thing. You played the start game so long, and now we're going into 9 months. You know, it's just incredible to think about. But you play that stop game for so long, and then you mix with it along the way leaders, people that you're supposed to trust, you know, and this goes to every level and every political party because we witnessed it all over the place, but leaders you're supposed to be able to trust who are not following through on the things they say you need to do, but they themselves can do whatever the heck they want. You know, that to me puts such a bad taste in my mouth, and it feels terrible to know that now lives are in the balance, both on the ICU side, right, the people that are really sick from this virus, and then the people on the other side that are collateral damage in all of this, who just want to go back to work, who just want to make a living. There's nothing coming at them from the state level. There's nothing coming at them from the federal level. There is no stimulus being issued by the federal level. There is no support coming from the state level in terms of what their small business is supposed to do now if they survived this entire year up until this point. It is a very sucky situation. I thank God I'm not a small business owner.
It really,
Yeah.
it's such a shame. And then there's like this video going around on Twitter about like a small business owner, a small restaurant owner, and what is it, Sherman Oaks, and right next door is a big production thing going on, and it's just like wall to wall chairs and stuff where like crew can sit, and that's considered safe compared to a dining, you know, an outside dining area where like there's benches that are like clearly further than 6 feet apart from one another. And she shut down versus someone that needs to make a movie because that's more important.
Yeah, the hypocrisy across the board. And I get it. This is all new territory for everybody. And I understand that, you know, nobody's ever really had to deal with something like this here, you know, and in this country. And we've been very fortunate, you know, that we've always been in a position where this hasn't been something that's you know, pressed our you know, head to the ground and made us have to just deal with it, but here we are now where people are dealing with these things that don't, there's no fairness across the board. I mean, and there's no consistency. I think that's the other problem here. I get the frustration. Nothing's consistent, and we're being told, well, we're being led by science. Well, whose science are we talking about? Who specifically are we looking to for this guidance? And I've mentioned here several times, the World Health Organization continues to go back and forth on this too, and saying lockdowns are the worst thing you can do now.
It's not just the CDC. I think it's everybody, because I think I've flip-flopped 100 times since this thing had started on like how I feel like things should be handled, because it just changes so quickly. Like, and I know
it's hard to know where to stand.
Yeah, it really like every day I feel like I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll probably feel a different way about it, because it's just things just change so quickly. Things are just there's nothing to know. There's no way to know what's happening with this whole disease because we've never been through this before.
Right.
So it's tough on every level. And again, I just I don't think that's all I've got on it, honestly. I don't know. I was gonna say more. I just don't want to be overly political, honestly,
Sure.
because I don't think that's the only issue. I think there's a lot of issues, but I just want to see something different. And it's what we've said the whole time with the consistency, like you were saying. That's what we've been saying since the beginning, when they've been keeping Disneyland closed and like letting barbers and all these different things be open, bars and things like that. It's just like, just have some consistency. Like, that's the main thing that's frustrating, and that's what's frustrating with seeing Newsom doing his stuff. But at the same time, again, screw Newsom. Like,
do the right thing.
Do the right thing, and everybody knows what the right thing is. Like, just be safe, put your masks on, stay away from as many people as you can, and if you're sick, stay inside. Like, I think everybody really knows the bottom line, and so just keep on doing that. The hypocrisy and everything, bad stuff, just push past it, because you know what you should be doing, and be your own leader. We don't need some dude to sitting in a governor mansion to tell us how to run our lives. We can be good people without him, and I just think that we should all do that.
Yeah. Well, and that comes full circle with the lockdowns. It's like, you want to see something different. We've done this before, and it didn't seem to matter much. Like I don't know if it did worse, things than it could have done better. But here we are, circling all the way back and trying this again. I think if you put a little bit of trust in the people, and you believe in the people to do the right thing, like you said, Tyler, perhaps we could, witness restaurants continue to operate that have pumped thousands of dollars into retrofitting, due to CDC guidelines and everything that's required, retrofitting their entire operation to be outside. My goodness, on Thanksgiving night, I witnessed some restaurants near me who had to put everything outside because of what was going on, and the Santa Ana winds blew in. And for anybody that doesn't know, Santa Ana winds here in Southern California,
They're strong.
It's like a tornado, and it just blows through and takes everything with it. And that was happening on Thanksgiving night. And I felt terrible for these poor restaurants that did survive, that are still here, and they moved everything outdoors because they were told this is the only way you can do this now, right ahead of Thanksgiving, the only light that they had. They moved everything outside. I'm walking through and notice just tables are flipping over and people trying to dine. I mean, there's dirt in all their food, and you have the serving staff running out there trying to clean things as fast as possible because this dust blows through. And I thought, this is just... It never gets better for anybody. It's so sad. So,
and how do you even know how much food to buy in these situations as like a small restaurant or something like that? Like, how do you know, that you're not going to buy like 100 pounds of turkey and then you're only going to have like 3 diners, I mean,
good point. Yeah.
It's just like, everything is just so crazy right now that I feel like if you're a small business owner and you're not a billionaire, then you're in big trouble. It's like, it's really scary, and I feel bad
situation
for everybody.
Yep. Disneyland is also issuing a statement when it comes to Grad Night. Disneyland Grad Night updates have come our way finally, and now we are seeing that it's officially canceled for 2021. I feel so bad for those high school seniors that have had to live through this year. They didn't get to spend much of their second half of their semester, their final few months of their senior year. They didn't even get to spend it with their friends. It looks like Grad Night into 2021 is being canceled. Disneyland Resort issued the following statement saying, "Thank you for your interest in Grad Night 2021 at the Disneyland Resort. The recently released state guidelines related to theme parks put us in limbo regarding regarding a reopening timeline in the foreseeable future, and therefore we are unable to move forward with Grad Night 2021. We know how disappointing this will be to the many graduates who are looking forward to celebrating at the Disneyland Resort, and we thank you for your understanding during these challenging and unprecedented times. We look forward to celebrating with your students in years to come. Grad Night, a rite of passage in California at the Disneyland Resort. Walt Disney World got rid of theirs a couple years ago. However, it's remained kind of a staple of the Disneyland Resort experience, and it's really sad because so many high schools, this is what they do. This is where they go. This is a way to sort of celebrate things to an end. And now 2021 also pulling the plug on that early.
I do have to say, if there are any seniors listening, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on what you just said, because I agree it is sad. It's very sad that things can't just be normal. I get it, but Grad Night was something that seemed very romantic to me my whole high school career, and then when I finally got to go, by about 2 a.m, I was like, I just want to go to bed now. I just want to go to bed. And so Grad Night seems like a really cool thing, and it was. I'm glad that I went, like you said, rite of passage. But at the same time, don't be too upset, seniors. It'll be okay.
Yeah,
it'll be okay. Honestly, Disneyland is better on just a normal day than it is.
Well, wasn't it a free ticket to go in, or you have to pay for it?
No, you pay.
Schools pay.
Schools pay.
Yeah,
I thought my parents paid.
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends on your school. I was going to say,
okay.
Some schools will foot the bill based on what do they call it? Cast activities and stuff, or cast that's Disneyland. Student activities, like student activities unions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they budget for it. I know my school did. However, I know that there are situations where some schools are like, you want to go, you're going to pony up the dough also.
At that point, I just buy my own ticket and go on my own sweet time.
Yeah, probably enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, because that's the thing is they don't do fast passes. They're so crowded. It's like super crowded. At least the night I went was just so crowded. And then they put these really fun, awesome dance clubs everywhere that really just mean that they're blasting music, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I'm just trying to sleep. I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed.
There's loud noises. I just want to go to bed.
I mean, it's the longest line. I waited in line for Indiana Jones for like 3.5 hours.
Oh my gosh,
that sounds great. Super fun while you talk to your friends that you see every day.
Yeah, yeehaw.
So we did literally like 3 rides, and that was it. And
You literally poo-pooed all over this poor 2021 Grad Night.
You didn't go to any of the dance clubs?
We walked past them.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was
no boogieing on down for you.
I don't know. I can listen to Kiss FM on the radio. I don't need to have him blasting music right in my face at Disneyland.
Oh, this curmudgeon! My goodness. Well,
Sorry.
Disneyland.
I'm trying to make people feel better.
You're not missing out on much.
You're not missing out. Disneyland's better on a normal day. Just saying.
I don't know if you've ever been to Grad Night. Leave it in the comments down below. Give this video a big like if you are a fan of the Grad Night experience. We'd love to hear from you as well. More Kingdom Report live for you next. Stick with us.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Gared on the go time. Walt Disney World reporter Gared Hassel standing by somewhere in O-Town, Orlando out east. Gared Hassel, my friend, where are you? What is happening? What should we know?
I am currently deep in the jungles of Animal Kingdom. Behind me, you see a beautiful, beautiful Christmas tree. That is because I'm in the entranceway of Animal Kingdom. I wanted to switch it up today, and it is a glorious day at 70 degrees in December. So, man, it stinks to live in Florida at this time of year.
Yeehaw. Well, thanks for coming to us from Animal Kingdom, especially with that beautiful seasonal fair behind you. I know there's a lot going on Walt Disney World side. What should we know? What stories do you have for us?
There's always so much going on here. It's always challenging to pick what's important, but I'm going to do what's important about Animal Kingdom. Very recently, there were 2 Maasai giraffe calves that were born, and they are now a part of Kilimanjaro safaris. Yes, they're quite big babies, coming out at a little over 6 feet tall. So their baby size is one Gared size, so quite the feat. Kudos to them. Yeah, and they are out on Kilimanjaro Safari. So if you want to hop on a truck and go explore, remember your truck's name is Simba 1 if you're doing a Wilderness Explorer badge. But while you go out there, it is quite spectacular. And fun fact, if you did not know, a group of giraffes is actually called a tower. It's called a tower of giraffes. Yes, if you did not know that, yeah, it's a fantastic feat.
What do you call a group of zebras?
A group of humans?
Zebras.
Oh, group of zebras? You know, like a type. I don't remember. Do you remember?
I know. That's the one that I knew you didn't know. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Rude.
Well done.
What is it?
I don't know. Didn't we decide it was like a dazzle or something like that?
A zazzle?
Yes, it is. It's a dazzle of zebras. Yes. I thought you said humans, and I was like, I've come up with plenty of ones for humans, but it's not very scientifically accurate. My other favorite groupings are flamboyance of flamingos. That's my number 1.
Oh yes,
can't beat that. You got a bloat of hippos. You've got a crash of rhinos and a dazzle of zebras. But yeah, Tower of Giraffes. Congrats to these newborns and their parents. I would shake their hands, but they have hooves, and I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be touched by humans unless you're a certified handler. So congrats to them. I'll be sure to wave at every giraffe I see whenever I go on this safari again real soon.
Yeah, stay away from them, please. My goodness. We don't need you riding giraffes around.
That sounds phenomenal. Plus, they have long purple tongues for reaching stuff in the trees to help them from not getting sunburned, just so you know. I know lots of animal facts. One of my old Disney college program roommates used to work on there. Shout out to my man, Chris. He was a fantastic safari driver until he had to go away because he moved back up to New York. He moved back up to New York, but he's the all-time favorite safari driver. If he comes out again, I'll be sure to do a vlog and just have him list all the animal facts he knows in that one.
Well, you yourself are basically our own safari explorer, and you know an awful lot about many different things there in that park. But hey, outside of that park, Magic Kingdom, I noticed some fireworks were back during my recent trip. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so if you were to go to the Magic Kingdom at night, once the sun has gone down and the projections are on the castle, you're going to see some pixie dust. And by pixie dust, I mean some firework spectaculars, and by spectacular I mean it's just little birds.
Oh,
it's nothing crazy. It's not like you're not getting any crazy fireworks show. You're not getting happily ever after or RIP wishes. But on the castle, they do 4 different transitions. If you've seen my vlog, be sure to check that out. They happen every 15 minutes, and between the transitions, it's just like woo transformation, and it just shoots outward, and it's just like and that's it. But still. Some fireworks are better than no fireworks. That is the decree of Disney, and I think all guests would agree. Having some fireworks is better than getting nothing at all.
I thought it was very magical when they transferred the different projections, and then they had the little.
Yeah,
I thought it was very pretty.
I
was okay with it. I was like, I didn't get the fireworks, but that's okay.
These low-level fireworks are really cool.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
It's very magical.
It's a nice surprise. I think most people obviously have no idea that they're going on, and so it's this wonderful shock, and you hear it in the crowd.
Yeah, everybody goes, "Oh!"
Yeah. So I guess every 5 to 10 minutes or so, you'll notice it shoot off. And I heard one young man in front of me with his family as we were walking through Adventureland. He saw it at a distance. And he was like, "Mom, I thought you said that there were no fireworks tonight. I thought you said there wasn't any fireworks." And she's like, "There aren't. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about." And I said, "Well, Mother, let me tell you that there are some low-level fireworks, very inconsistent, but very low-level, and it's not a show, it's not set to music, but it's something you Go see.
And she smacked you with your purse and ran away.
Six
She took
feet
her
away,
umbrella. Yeah, 6 feet away. Great to have that back, Gared.
Yeah, that is actually rule number 33 in the Disney handbook, which is some fireworks are better than no fireworks. So thank you, Wade, for telling that woman that, yes, those are fireworks. Your imagination isn't big enough to comprehend how magical these fireworks are.
Got her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yes, but
Better for
in
me.
other exciting news, if you want to come and spend more time at the park, you are going to be able to do so because some park times are going to be extended for a little bit. Actually, for the middle of December. Sorry, I think I'm at the beginning of December, but December just goes by so fast. But yes, all parks are going to be getting extended some hours, and the way it seems is that it's usually the hour before. So if the park was open at 9, it's now going to be open at 8. If it's open at 9 or 7, it's going to be open earlier than that. So yeah, it's quite exciting. If you look on the screen there, you can see what's going on. You might want to note that on December 31st, there is no 12 p.m. That means you will not be able to celebrate the New Year's
12 a.m.
in Disney World, which is quite sad because for the first time in almost 50 years, you will not be able to bring in the New Year at the most magical place on earth. However, you can hang out until 11 o'clock at Magic Kingdom or 10 o'clock at Epcot. At Epcot, if you actually go there, you'll be able to celebrate a couple different time zones worth of Happy New Year's, but you won't actually get America's. Like, you'll be able to get France and Germany and China and Japan and Morocco, but you won't actually get to celebrate America's. So salute to all nations except America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting, Tyler, Katrina. It looks like, I mean, obviously it's intentional, but there is no midnight hours when it comes to Disney World extending out their times on these New Year's Eve day.
It's strange, but I do see these hours getting, earlier and earlier. And are we going to get an announcement from Chapek saying they're putting capacity to 45% in the next coming week? Because it seems kind of weird. I don't know if they would be pushing. Gary's like 50, and I'm like, I don't know. That's a lot, but I'm going to say like 40, 45.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I just can't imagine changing like those hours by like 2 to 3 hours extra. That means like that many more people can come in.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's nice to see It's nice to see the expansion happen to begin with for the sake of the Thanksgiving holiday week that we had experienced.
Oh yeah, they needed it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was nice to also see that it felt like after maybe 5 or 6 at night, crowds dropped off everywhere I was.
Yeah.
Other than Disney Springs.
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah.
But now they handled 35% during Thanksgiving, so now they know they could probably handle 45 at Christmas.
We'll kick it up a notch.
Let's just do it. Let's turn it up.
Entirely possible, Gared.
Yes, it is indeed. I'm excited to, if you get to go to Hollywood Studios, you might be able to get extra boarding groups now because, as we know, boarding groups are the hottest commodity out here. And usually, like, if you cannot get a boarding group by park closing, like if your boarding group has not boarded, they say, sorry, folks. So now with these park extensions, maybe they can get a few more people onto Rise of the Resistance, the hottest e-ticket attraction of, 2020, that's to say the least.
Great points. Hey, it also sounds like based on what we were seeing and what we've heard.
Yes, we are going contactless for shopping. Currently, they are doing some testing of contactless shopping over at Mouse Gears over in Epcot. If you do not know where this is, it used to be, in the place that's currently been destroyed, but it's right next to where the would-be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind attraction is going to be. So if you were to enter the park, you're going to head off to the left, and eventually you will see it in there. And the way this works is you go in there, you grab a shopping bag, you then, if you find it, I'd be like, oh man, I really like those ears. You scan it with your phone, you put it in the bag. Then, oh, I like that blanket. I like that shirt. You scan it, put it in the bag. Then once you're done doing all that, you then hit purchase. Boom, it's good to go. But that's not all, because Disney does not want you to steal because, that's bad. As you exit the store, they are going to check your receipt to make sure that you actually purchased everything. And similar to how Costco works, if you've gone to Costco, or they show me the receipt, they're going to check everything that's on there, and they're like, boom, you're good to go. Also, if you have any delicates in there, they will be able to wrap those up for you. But do note there you cannot get jewelry and just put it in the bag. You have to do that at a separate counter because jewelry is expensive. If you did not know that, jewelry typically has a high price tag on that one. Fun fact. So I'm excited to see how this rolls out. Cast members have said that it's in the testing phase right now, but if it works out, it could expand. I really worry how it would work at a place like World of Disney. I don't think it would work there. I really hope it does not go on there because that just seems really kind of dangerous with theft. But I think keeping it in the theme parks at minor stores would work. The Emporium is going to be the biggest question just because that is the biggest Disney store outside of, World of Disney here at Walt Disney World. But overall, it's an exciting thing. It's contactless. It's promoting social distancing and not having to hand over things. And if you are a cashless person, you're good to go. So I'm excited to see how this goes out. I'll have to stop by there the next time I run into Epcot and see if I can get myself, some earrings for myself or a lovely blouse or
some delicates, like you said.
Delicates.
Yeah, or
you meant lingerie when you said
I
delicates, right?
Yeah, I want a hat on a hat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, those are the best. Yeah. Well, the one huge plus out of this for me seems to be one less line to stand in.
Yes.
How terrific is that? Streamlining the experience even more.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I really liked about this past trip was every time we did quick service, it was just a breeze because, I hate the quick service thing that they do where they have two lines for one register and then it's like, okay, they take somebody from this line and then they take somebody from that line. So it's really hard to decide what's going to kind of optimize your time there. But just having just the mobile order, be a thing this time and be the only thing really, it was fantastic. All the food, getting all the food was great. It was quick and easy. And I'm actually happy to see this translate over to the merchandise. I really hope that it
four
makes
people do mobile order at the exact same time as
As
a
we
group as
witnessed.
we did.
Yeah, we were like, oh, well, we broke the system. 4 people ordered all at the same time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everybody trying.
Tyler's order got deleted. Wade got his first somehow. Ariel and I had to wait. Yeah, it was a big kerfuffle. And then on top of everything, we were attacked by a swarm of yellow jackets. We barely got out of there with our lives. I'm not exaggerating at all. I am always honest. I don't exaggerate things. You know who I am.
You sat there the whole time and just took it though.
Yep.
He did, yeah.
What a warrior.
Listen,
He's
I
like,
was
are you done with that?
I had a pulled pork sandwich, and no one was getting in the way of the pulled pork sandwich.
I mean, it was delicious. I
It was
got to
good.
admit.
I will say too, even though they did lose my order, on my phone, I couldn't see it on my phone. I just walked up to the guy with an iPad, and he's like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Tyler." And he just
he said, "Of course it is. Hello,
and
Tyler
he's
Crouch."
like, "Oh yes,
From
I
the
know." He
Kingdom
was like,
Report.
"Oh, you're the guy from Kingdom Report, right?" No, that didn't happen. But then he looked at his little iPad, saw my name, and he's like, "Okay, I set up your order, so it'll be ready in just a minute." And super easy, super painless. I loved it. So
Pretty sweet.
yeah.
Two
Seamless.
thumbs up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We like that mobile order now.
Yeah, mobile order for food, mobile order for retail. It is streamlining the whole process. And I got to say, another
Crazy.
huge plus from the trip that we just took is, the whole process of not even having to go to a front desk when you check in now at a
Oh,
Disney hotel is so
Yes.
wonderful that
Yeah.
my room is just ready and that they send me a text message and say, use your Magic Band or you can use your phone to get in. What a sweet deal that is.
It's
I mean,
cool.
and they know when I'm there. They know when I've arrived.
Creepy.
And so,
Yeah.
they
bit.
definitely knew when I showed up. And so they sent me a text message saying, your room isn't quite ready yet. However, we're working on it. They got me into my room 3.5 hours before check-in time.
Oh.
It was the nicest thing to have happen. And I did it all without speaking to one person. I mean, it was just so seamless. And that way I could go enjoy the resort. That way I can go, start my vacation immediately.
Go to Regal Eagle. Get
Go
that
to
barbecue.
Regal Eagle.
That's right. That's what we did.
Get the beef.
We're like, checked in. Boom. Regal Eagle.
That barbecue.
Done.
It is good.
We
My
had it
God.
2 times. It's delicious.
Anything else, Gared?
Yeah, I just want to say it was phenomenal getting to see all of you for once at
Phenomenal.
the same time.
Yes.
It's been over a year of us doing this thing we call a show, and it was truly a pleasure to get to see all of you. I've seen you all at separate times. Now we just need to get Christian and Kurt out here, and then we'll be a full Ohana.
The full family.
But in the
Aw.
meantime, yeah, I had a great time. It was nice hanging out with you guys, even
Yes.
if it was only for 2 short little days. But still, just like Rule 33, some fireworks better than no fireworks. some hangout time better than no hangout time. That's actually rule 74. I'm coming out with a handbook. It's going to be hitting 2025.
Wow.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
A couple
cool.
years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was nice hanging out with you too, and nice meeting your girlfriend Ariel too. So.
Yeah, we all get to see Ariel in person.
Yeah, she's real.
She's a real person. Will you please tell our viewers she's a real person?
Yeah, not just made up
Actually,
anymore.
we were just making that part up. Never mind. We never met Ariel.
Total hologram. Yeah.
We don't have any pictures with her.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Sweet gal, though.
Actually, do we? I don't think there is any pictures. Wait, no, there's no pictures with her.
Technically, we may have possibly one, but who knows? It might get
Maybe.
lost in
And
the...
she took the
Yeah,
photo of all of
it-
us
it-
together, so
it's-
she wasn't in that.
It's gonna be our great Christmas card for next year.
Yeah,
Picture of
I
all
love
of
it.
us. I want the one with my leg sticking out.
Who doesn't?
Oh, yeah, that was a cute one.
The sexiest of all of them. Rockette style.
Absolutely, but other than that, no. Disney World.
He's blushing. You
is-
can't tell though.
Yeah. Sorry, you can't see. See, I'm blushing. It's all red. But no, today it is supposed to be capacity for all 4 parks, and it doesn't really feel that way at all. Animal Kingdom, I've seen little bursts of people come in and out. If you want to see capacity, honestly, you have to go to Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom because those are the most tightly packed ones. Animal Kingdom and Epcot are so spread out that you could have the full park here and you wouldn't even know where anyone is because there's so many little crevices and nooks and experiences that you can enjoy. Heck, Epcot's World Showcase is, I think, close to 3/4 of a mile long. You could easily play an awesome game of hide and go seek there.
Oh, the best of times. My goodness. Well, hey, go climb that Christmas tree, put the star on top or replace it, and we will see you next week.
Sounds good. It's been a pleasure, everyone. Have a happy holidays and see you real soon.
Real soon. That's for
Bye.
dang sure. Well, stick with us, my friends. More Kingdom Report live as it rolls on straight ahead.
Hey, Kingdom Team, do you need more magic in your life? We understand, which is why we connect you to more of what makes you happy 3 times a week. Catch our theme park coverage, vlogs, and reviews every Tuesday and Thursday. And experience the Kingdom Report live, streaming every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. That's new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, crafted with you in mind. Don't miss out. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications at The Kingdom Report on YouTube. And catch every update throughout the week at Kingdom Report Live on social media. See you there!
Kingdom Team All Call time. You've got questions, we've got answers. It is all about you. If you have any questions for us, kingdomreportlive.com is the place. Fill out the form there, or you can go ahead and leave a comment down below and let us know what's on your mind. We'll go ahead and grab that and maybe run with it for a future broadcast. Today's question comes to us from Audrey Furman. Audrey asks, is there a real possibility that Disneyland will be closed a full year and not open by March 2021? March 2021 obviously being that date in which Disneyland officially closed down. Kind of incredible to think that we are soon approaching a full calendar year that Disneyland theme parks have been closed. We'll start with Tyler. Do you think that Disneyland will, in fact, be closed a full year?
Yeah. Yes.
So, say it a different way.
Indubitably. I mean, that's like, I think that's kind of, unfortunately, definitely what's going to happen. We've been kind of going through our different, guesses throughout this whole entire year and when things are going to open. And for a long time now, I've been saying, I don't think it's going to happen until next year. And it's looking like that's a major possibility. I would think that the earliest I could see it opening is probably early summer, personally. And that's dependent on a lot of things. That's dependent on, how we start handling this whole virus thing when it comes to hospitals, and not just lockdowns and stuff, but just all sorts of assistance by the federal government and stuff. And then it also comes down to these vaccinations.
Yeah.
If these vaccinations really work, and as much as I would love to go back to Disneyland and have a great day there and, you know, be at California Adventure in a full capacity, being able to go on rides and stuff like that, I think it's going to be longer than a year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
He poo-pooed all over that one.
Ouch. You agree, Katrina?
Yes.
Yeah. Way to double poo.
I know. I totally poo-pooed on that one too. Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, maybe downtown Disney's going to expand more, possibly, but not Disneyland, the park.
Yeah.
Is not going to be reopened, like the rides and stuff. I feel like those are going to stay still for a good while.
It's incredible when you think about how many times we have, because we obviously get asked this question regularly. I mean, every time we're on live and on every video that we post vlog wise, we get asked this question: when do you think Disneyland's going to reopen? And we have played the projection game here multiple times and been very, I think, responsible with what's going on and responsible with the evidence, and, you know, sort of built a case around each time we thought it was about to or getting close to. And we talked about something very early on where we used, I believe it was one of these questions that referenced the Rose Parade, and specifically had said that if the Rose Parade was not going to, this was months and months and months ago, that if the Rose Parade was not going to go on as scheduled, could it be possible that we don't see a Disneyland return until 2021? And at that time, it seemed like kind of a ridiculous notion that, number one, you know, the Rose Parade has to start building and creating 6 to 8 months in advance, so they would have already had to start being in motion for that. But the chatter we had around it was no, there's so many. At the time, we believed that the governor was working with theme parks. At the time, we were being told very different information, and we believed that all of this was about to happen, and we sort of rearranged that deck of cards multiple times based on the information that we have in the moment. I think it will be incredible to look back on this year and every one of these types of questions and look at what we were hearing at the time versus what has happened.
Can we have like a montage video of like our projections and like the real news that was going on at that certain time?
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah, that
really
was one of you know, our highest watched videos of all time was the not open until 2021 Disneyland video, and it was all about this possibility of, well, if the Rose Parade isn't going to go off in 2021, what are the likelihood of Disneyland returning theme park wise? And you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, you're out of your mind if you think that it's going to be 2021, and there was all this nastiness in there, because I think people yeah, I know,
on the internet,
not online,
what
but I think people really wanted to, you know, assume the best and think of the best and think of the good things, that there was no way that this could extend out into 2021. And now we're talking about, well, will it be a full calendar year come March and then still not be open? With all the information that we have now, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
you know, I'll triple poo.
Oh my gosh, Christian.
Yeah, get that quadruple in there, Christian.
I'll make it a quadruple. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's gonna be closed for a full year.
Now you have it. 4 poos.
Man, you know, and it's so weird to think that each time we've talked about this, I think we all had a lot of optimism that it was going to be just another month or two, or, you know, we were going to come close to something modified like Disney World, and we were going to see differences there. And we're on the cusp of a new year. It's amazing how things have changed this year. It's amazing, Tyler, you know, you and I talking about Katrina coming back from Italy.
Yeah.
Tyler, you and I sitting here talking about this virus, and is it serious? And like, should we be concerned? And what's really happening and what's going on?
I remember that interview that we had too with, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was like one of the first people that really was in the news that contracted corona.
One of the first Americans to have COVID-19.
Yeah. And we were talking to him, and he was like, yeah, I'd go on a cruise in a month. And I'm like, okay, it's nice to hear, you know. And that's why earlier in the show I said, like, I keep flip-flopping on this whole thing, because none of us know what to expect. And but I'm just going off of what we've seen now since March. And if I'm going off of that, it's going to be closed for over a year.
Yeah.
So
judging from the on again, off again information we're receiving from our own state, and I don't even know who to trust anymore at the state level based on everything that I've seen behavior wise and attitude wise. I don't know if they're even working with theme parks now. I don't even know if they're considering this anymore. Now it just feels like they've completely excused it away and thought, you know what, now we have data to claim we're even worse off. Therefore, we're not even going to acknowledge theme parks exist, while the whole narrative had been, oh yeah, we've been working with them this whole time.
Yeah.
And then they called them out to say, no one's contacted us at all. So yeah, to think that we've gone all this time and now we're heading into a new year. And I think you're right, Tyler, how vaccines are distributed and what that looks like overall, how many people are impacted by that and take it versus percentage wise, how many people can get vaccinations and how quick, all of that, will play a very big factor on, I think, what this state in particular does. But yeah, I think everybody's right that a full calendar year is probably pretty practical at this point. I don't want that to be true.
Yeah.
I really would like to see something January or February, bounce back, and maybe we get a reprieve and they allow, it to be set up kind of like how Walt Disney World is and have this modified version of a theme park, happening. But I gotta say, based on everything that we're seeing, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, in January and February sound like they're far away, but they're really pretty close. I mean, we're
couple weeks.
We're almost there to January. So the beginning of 2021 is going to be as bad as the first quarter of 2020, unfortunately, but if not worse in some cases. But we're going to keep on pushing forward. That's all you can do, and it's sad to see this, and I feel bad for all the cast members. I feel bad for everybody involved. That's really the thing that I want to go back and have a stupid fun time, but also I just feel bad for everybody else. So, but here's hoping.
Let's hold out for spring 2021.
Yeah.
Let's hope it'll be before summer. And I know that there's so much to consider going into the new year, and so many variables, even politically right now, as to what could happen and what might take place and what could occur in the science community and what could occur in the distribution from even these private companies that have created vaccines. So there's so much that can still happen. And I feel like every week, in terms of just our news cycle, every week feels like a month in terms of stuff that has happened. There's so much going on at any given time, and that's how this whole year has felt. It feels like we've lived a small eternity this year based on just how much we've been through. Yeah. So kind of incredible to think that we are not too far out from, you're right, that full year, and we appreciate the question, that's for sure, but it looks like the good news, vaccines are here, and hopefully will be deployed quickly, and we will certainly see how all of that pans out, how fast it can be done. That way we can start moving on with some semblance of normalcy and maybe getting our Disneyland back. And a note as to that gentleman that we talked to, Ron Goldman, from the beginning of the year, one of the first Americans to reportedly have COVID. We talked to him while he was under like a federal lockdown, under lock and key, being monitored by doctors because nobody knew how bad this was going to be, and he talked to us from like his holding cell. It wasn't dark like that, but he was basically quarantined in a space like in Nebraska somewhere, where they were, I guess they had set up some sort of medical facility after 9/11, and they were using that for him. And when we were talking to him, he seemed awfully upbeat and positive. He's made a full recovery. Bless him for making the full recovery. But yeah, you're right. He was talking about how I would go on a cruise this year, absolutely. And I wonder what his reaction would be like.
I know, because I wouldn't go on a cruise this year, not even for anything. So
yeah, pretty wild. But we thank you so much for your question. If you have a question for us, again, kingdomreportlive.com, or you can leave the question down below. If you appreciate this segment, our little Q&A, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. And if you want to, go ahead and subscribe to the Kingdom Report on YouTube. All right, my friends, that about wraps up the show. Beautiful, happy holidays are amongst us. There's so much to do and plan for, maybe outside of the state of California, but here, very little to do and plan for because we're about to be locked down again. So anything you guys are up to? Any news and notes going into the new week?
Well, we were supposed to go to Taste of Mary Farm coming up pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, during the show here, friend of the show, Tiki Andy, sent over a little link that on Instagram, because of all this lockdown stuff, they're saying that December 6th is going to be the last one.
No way.
And then they're going to be getting back to us on when they're going to figure out dates for this stuff. So,
Breaking news.
Yeah. So Merry Farm, if you have tickets to Merry Farm, check into that, because it's not happening after December 6th until they get back to us to tell us the dates. So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, we're just going to try and hunker down. I know people are tired of that, but
Yeah.
that's what you got to do. So,
Well, we were fortunate enough to have this Disney World trip, and you know, doing what we can to remain safe and be healthy and do all the right things as required. So, yeah, I feel like deep down I sort of thought this was coming. You know, I think that there was a feeling within that we were headed this direction again.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, one last hurrah for Christmas, you
Yeah.
know, and at least try and get in the spirit of things. And I'm glad I made that Disney World trip.
yeah, we had that Thanksgiving trip planned for almost a year or like about a year.
Mhm.
So we were just like, let's just go, and we
See
haven't
what happens
seen,
when we left?
you
Everything
know,
went to poo.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
now we're
everybody.
here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Never
now
leave
just
again.
Wear a
Look
mask.
what happens.
Stay
Yeah.
at home. Don't do anything crazy. Can't really do anything crazy. We're gonna go get a COVID test just to make sure,
Yeah.
just to see what happened when we're over in Florida, just to see what's going on. So we have that right now.
Smart
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, there's a reason why it looks like we're so far away, because we are in the studio here. We did this a while back in order to make sure that there was a proper distancing between all of us, and the studio rehab that we had kind of supported that. So now Tyler and Katrina are very far away from me, even though we were on the same trip together. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're probably sharing the same germs anyhow.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wore masks the whole time.
Yeah, we didn't share
You know,
anything
Yeah.
besides our presence.
I thought we were all licking off the same ice cream cone. Maybe that was my imagination.
That was just a dream you had.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Mhm.
Oh, that might be. Oh.
Mm.
Well, at any rate, we want to thank you for being a part of the broadcast today. A big thanks to everybody that said hello while I was out in Walt Disney World. It seems like more people approached me than anybody else, so thank you for that. Our friends in Ohio.
I don't think
are,
they exist.
Oh, no, they're not even human. Our friends from Ohio, New Jersey, our cast member friends that watch, thank you all for saying hello. And if you ever see us out and about, a socially distanced hello would be just perfect. It means a lot to us. So make sure to say hey. And if you are wondering, it is in fact Walt Disney's birthday today.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Walt.
Happy
A
birthday.
huge celebratory hooray for the late, great Walt Disney. We want to say to the entire Disney family, bless you and thank you for the memory of Walt Disney and for letting that live on, and the Walt Disney Family Museum and all the honors that are paid to him at this point. Very grateful, and certainly are excited to celebrate that big dreamer's birthday, whether he's here or not. We're all better off because of him. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney, it lives on because of people like you and me. We will see you right back here next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for an all-new Kingdom Report Live.